What's up, Raymond? You stated that your mental health is taking a toll. Aside from talking with your friends and working out to relieve stress, what other ways have helped you manage your temperament? That's a very good question. So you kind of touched on it already in regards to people. It's where I've had to turn almost continuously is talking, getting my thoughts out, being vulnerable enough to admit I'm struggling, that I need help. I was talking to my girl, I think it was last night or the night before, in regards to anxiety might be a sign that you're trying to do the job of two people. Same thing for depression. You might be trying to do the job of two people when it requires two people to fix it. And that's the issue with when you have a prideful person or arrogant person, or person who thinks they're smart and they're intelligent and they're above average in intelligence like myself. I try to fix things myself. I try to just put my hand on it and touch it and manipulate it and turn it and twist it and then I tend to mess it up further unless I'm knowledgeable and competent enough to actually accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. Mental health is one of those things where you need typically two people, at least, at minimum. You need two people. They always talk about it takes a village to raise a child. Sometimes to get through certain processes, it requires at least minimum two people. Basic training tries to beat that into you as far as, all right, we're going to give you a task that it requires at least two people. And you're going to have some people coming from the civilian world that they want to fix it themselves. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to do teamwork. That's me. I hate teamwork. I tell you with everything within me, I cannot stand team sports, team objectives, team stuff. It irritates me to high hell to have to depend on other people to do their job to the level that I think I'm doing my job. And then in those cases where I'm not as good as they are, I love that. I love that. But of course, I become the person that I hate. It's crazy. So, shout out to Wooten for the super chat. We'll get to that in a second. So yeah, mental health has been an evolving thing. Everything from the carnivore diet to just a clean diet to avoiding sugar to staying hydrated to get enough sleep. And you kind of notice how there's causal factors that you're dealing with as far as what is causing everything else. What can I fix that fixes everything else? One thing I've noticed is that my diet controls almost everything else in my life. Caffeine intake. Realizing that if I drink too much past a certain time in the day, it's going to affect my sleep, which is going to affect the next day. I'll be more irritated. I'll be on edge if I don't sleep as well, due to humidity or due to room temperature or just the time I went to bed. I had to have having the TV on, having too many lights on, having any lights on. All these variables that you try to account for, and you try to follow the third and fourth and fifth order of effects as far as what is this causing to go negatively the next day. Those things I try to control for. But the main thing that something I'll be addressing proactively when I get back to Canada, because I haven't actually been back in the area yet, is actually getting professional help, regardless of consequences, regardless of cross training, regardless of my ambition professionally. Getting professional help and letting that be all that it is. Stop trying to fix things 2 and 3 and 4 goals at once. The easiest way to derail someone from their goal is to give them an extra goal, give them two goals, give them anything else to focus on besides what they're trying to accomplish. That's how you derail someone. You say, all right, I know you're trying to reach that destination. Let's go here too. It's going to slow you down at the bare minimum. You might be able to do both, but the quality at which you can do both goes down. It's like me trying to do a live stream and play a video game at the same time. This is not obviously we got stream. Bad example. The point is, do one thing at a time. Do one thing at a time. So, yeah, there's so many ways to address mental health because there's so many things that feed into it. The body feeds into it in terms of what you feed yourself. Working out, the therapeutic effects of working out are off the charts. They're crazy valuable. Being able to get that aggression out and have it go be anti-fragile in nature. It benefits me to be aggressive, playing sports, being competitive. Things that kind of fall into my genetic makeup are necessary, especially when it comes to dealing with something as vital and primitive, if you will, such as mental health. So there's no direct answer in terms of how to address it, but things I've addressed personally has been talking. This being one of them. Talking. Getting certain things out of your system that you know you need to address, things that you're thinking about. And that's the issue with anxiety is that it tends to go in a circular fashion where you start with one issue, you try to think it all the way through, you find a conclusion, and then you try to play out that conclusion and all the variables associated with it. And you realize, I can't account for all those. So you start adding in stuff, you start assuming, and then you play those out all the way, and you end up back at the beginning. I don't like any of these options. The options I don't include there, the options I do include there, it's all circular. And the anxiety prison that you enter is one of a circle. It's almost like the Pentagon. You just walk in circles. And you try to find an exit, and every exit you might not like it or you might like it, and then you try to play out the variables, you try to plan for years ahead, and you become overwhelmed. And that's where I tend to find myself in. That's where a lot of overthinkers find themselves in, is where they just try to figure out every single variable. They try to control everything, and they don't want to rely on hope and fate and compassion of others and empathy. I hate those things. I hate the answer, it depends. You're leaving too much to chance. Evolution talk, just chance, time. Things will work themselves out. Just pray about it. Just hope for the best. Do your best. That irks me to hear people just leave everything to just, well, if it happens, it happens. If it's for me, it's for me. That's taking away all accountability. Have you done your part? All those things irritate me. So, someone who overthinks, which I perceive my audience to be a lot of those type of people, in regards to mental health, it's a constant evolvement. It's constant evolution, if you will. The process never ends. You're not working towards a goal. You're working towards improvement, progress. It's kind of like temperament. It's kind of like having bad habits. You're not working to completely alleviate it. I can have the most cleanest diet in the world, but at some point, I'm still going to have a craving. And so what I'm working on is working on how do I respond to the craving? Not trying to remove the craving. I believe the Buddhists, they speak about how desire, you're trying to eliminate desire. In your religious pursuits, you're trying to eliminate desire. Desire's not going to go away. Desire will not go away. How you respond to desires. I just came from a casino-ridden town. There's just casinos everywhere. Biloxi, Mississippi, Gulfport, Mississippi, D'Iberville, Mississippi. Casinos everywhere. I wasn't tempted. Why? I just don't care. I've lost $50 total in my lifetime in terms of, in one setting. That was the last time. No, that was back in high school. I'm like, you'll get me twice. No, you got me. I take $20 in there. Once I lose it, I'm done. And that's how I've addressed casinos. This time, I didn't go at all. I went to casinos. I didn't go gamble. I walked past tables, no temptation. I went to the buffets. You hear me? I went to casinos. You hear me? So yeah, mental health is something that you progress towards. You never get there. You never be perfect. But you're constantly going in that same direction, and you check your direction. Direction matters more than speed. As long as my direction is proper and appropriate, then that's the path we stay on. So great question.